Hello and welcome back to Inquisitor Martyr. Last time we ran more of the Void Brethren seals and had a few strange crashes, and this time we're going to keep going with that and run a couple level 3s. But first, I was going to go over... going to try to get this neural implant of perseverance finished, because I want to see what the last stat is, but I might dump it. You know what, I'm just going to dump it right now, because it's terrible. 17 HP on kill isn't enough. The exposed stuff is irrelevant. Heat resistance, combo skills, Actually, now I need to take this out, because I'm going to reroll that combo skill boost. That's kind of pointless to me. Okay, I got 3 integrity. No. Acceptable. That's pretty much just like heat the item. That's fine, that'll work good and well. Exalted equipment complete. Oh yeah, that's a challenge. That's a seasonal thing that I haven't been paying attention to. But yeah, I also, quick run through, put another point into debuff. We're just 2 off from getting this finished. I really want this because 5% damage for every debuff effect. Well, I can chain a bunch of debuffs and deal a ton of damage. And then we'll jump back to AoE stuff and get that boosted, get the damage boosted. I'm still kinda on the suppression. But the critical hit strength area effect skills is pretty useful. And that's a radius. I can use that for everything, so I guess I'll have to go through it. See, I can make a point for that. I can make a case for it by getting some of the psychic combat. There's something that lets me do warp damage. And I could, in theory, use that and then change some AoEs to warp damage. But actually, now that I say that, I don't know how that's going to work with my heat attacks. Because that's the thing, I don't want to give up all this, because that's 3, 6, 9, 12, 15% damage. Plus 15% or 15 additional base damage. That's a pretty good amount. And yeah, 20% is better. But at the same time, I get the vulnerability. I get vulnerability from that. I get vulnerability from item I just equipped. You know, I can keep vulnerability on them, which is just going to boost my damage even higher. So it's a bit hard to justify it as I say it and as I think about it. You know, I get the value behind warp. Totally zoned out. I get the value behind warp damage, I really do. But damn, they really make a case for you to just not do it. It's like, yeah, you could get this. Or you can get a bunch of other stuff that sucks way less. And you're like, well, why would I take stuff that sucks then?
Thorn speaking. The enemy has dug in at multiple strong points over the battlefield. Mount an assault and take them one by one. When the Imperial banner flies high, you will get reinforcements.
What the hell is this skill?
Revel in carnage, Inquisitor.
Okay, I have to look. I have to investigate what this is. Okay. Okay, it's a single target. Better critical. What? It causes warp. Okay. Warp vulnerability? Alright, this... interesting, for sure. Because once I finish with the AoE stuff, I'm going to do just ranged combat boosts. And that's really going to make this shine. It's already pretty good. I do kind of wish I could have them target other people. But as it stands, I mean, it's still solid. I wish I could attack a little faster. But I get it, you know. It still does a great job. Hey, this is the same layout as, like, the first time we went through this area. Kind of. Or maybe I'm just dumb. It just feels the same, like this entrance, because we got chased back this way, and yeah. I'll admit the warp vulnerability isn't too useful for me, considering I don't have any warp abilities. But, that said, it is pretty cool. Hey, why am I... Oh, I guess there was a guy just bonking me. I mean, this isn't bad because that vulnerability means I'm dealing double damage on my hits. So it's a solid damage output if we're being honest. Quit healing. Okay. What do we got? Gaze of Doom, that's probably an I. Warp Rod of Calm, that's probably crap. Warp Rod, probably crap. Aether Blade, crap. You know, let's just quick give it a run through. Yeah, unfortunately, these are all one-handed. So they're bad. Gaze of Doom. Thunderbolt of Authority. Oh my god, I'm sick of Thunderbolt of Authority. It's terrible. I mean, it's a very good ability if it procs, but therein lies the big issue, is it has to proc. See, I don't know how I feel about this staff. Like, it's good, but it is so peculiar, and admittedly the warp damage, as it stands, does not synergize with my build in the slightest. So I'm just kind of boinking people with these homing shots, hoping it's gonna work out. Like, the AoE damage boost is good. I thought this was... Let's check the inventory again. Okay, so it's not these staffs. There's one that you call down like a barrage of light blue energy. I thought that's what this was. So I was like, oh cool, I'm gonna use that one and just flatten people. Turns out it's not. Kinda wish I knew that beforehand, but at the same time it wouldn't have really changed anything. I mean, on the upside, the damage is decent. Yeah, I can't nuke a swarm of trash, but at the same time, that's all my abilities. So why would I need to put in Nether Nuker ability on if I already have all of them? And I like the effect. forget it's 100 times your level in shields. So I'm getting like 6,300 shields. It's useful though, I mean, that's a lot of survivability I can gain. Wish my assassin could get that. She needs survivability bad. Oh, interesting thing I saw. So, Total War Warhammer 3, they've been doing little announcements each week for the new characters they're releasing, the new DLC, which I saw a bunch of people mad because they're like, oh, it's not for, like, Chaos Demons, it's for Warriors of Chaos, but they've kind of made Warriors of Chaos a blend of demons and mortals, which I understand, you know. That's kind of how they've always been, is, you know, you have your mortals and you have demons, and they have this really cool upgrade tree, where you'll start off with Chaos Marauders, you know, they suck, and you level them up, and when you level them up, the game will go, oh, hey, you can boost these guys into a new class. And they become a new unit. And I'm like, oh, so it's like Mountain Blade. That's literally what it is. You level up, you pick a new build effectively through a tree, and your guys become that. I thought that was cool. I want that for everybody. You know, it makes things a lot more interesting. This way you're not just going, okay, I built the building, time to just blitz a ton of high-level units. You actually have to keep and preserve units and level them up. And it adds more value to characters that have that passive training skill every turn. But, so I'm sitting there looking at all these people, you know, Angie. I'm like, okay, you know, I get it. I do think what we're getting is still cool. I like Warriors of Chaos. I thought they were absolute butt cheeks in the main game. I mean, they were just dreadful. I hated playing them. Only reason I liked using them was Kolek, because Kolek's Sun Eater was effectively an army unto himself. But being able to build these guys out a lot better now, I think it'll be cool. And like, they have Festus the Leech Lord, who... I know who I'm playing. Always playing some Nurgly boys. And it allows me to actually play Nurgle with ranged units that don't cause depression. Since I need to use medical supplies, I'll just do it. Okay, I can't open that box. But they have him, they have Azazel for Slanesh. We think it's going to be Valkia the Bloody for Khorne, and then the Changeling, I want to say, for Tzeentch. I can't remember who people thought it was. Somebody I'm just like, yep, that's a person. And Festus has a real bad turkey neck going on. Dude's neck meat just dangling. You could just walk up and kind of slap it around. He doesn't even have like he doesn't have a second chin. He has a second like belly hanging from his face. Yeah, more loot. This is what I want from the game. Just tons of loot, even if it's kind of crap. Hey, one force. Oh, that... I thought it was resilience, never mind. Wow. It's a lot of stuff. Oh yeah, crap. Ah, it's only 4 points though, that's kind of the problem. That's not that useful. Suppression while in cover is a waste. I don't take cover. No one takes cover. More bio-lightning boosts, my god. Game really wants me to be like, hey, you want bio-lightning? You sure? We got bio-lightning here. Yeah, and there's a lot of causing burning on heat skill, but I don't know how much that stacks. Because I don't want to sit here and have 15 of the same thing and only getting 1 burning. Yeah, it's different percent chances, so I don't know if they stack or if it rolls all of them. One-handed again. I don't like relying on surrounded and stuff. More T-bolt. I don't even know what kind of build that's trying to be. God, all of this is unfortunately kind of bad. Or like this, poison, that's not useful to me at all. I literally can't use it. I don't like removing enrage tokens. That really becomes a problem. Because yes, on one hand, I get bonus damage, but every attack removes them, so if I'm not killing and getting a token, I'm losing tokens and losing damage. And I don't like the inconsistency. Nope. Not really, that's kinda butt cheeks too. Not using a pistol, not using a sword. God. All of this is just kind of not that great. Or more of this, oh, here's stuff in cover. And I could sit here and re-roll it, but the effects themselves don't stand out enough for me to justify it. All this stuff is still bad even if I replace it. And of course, I can sit here and do that, and then get nothing, and then have to burn a bunch of resources trying to boost the... what is it? The durability, or whatever it is, of the item, so that I can roll it again, and I'm in, mid-60s. Whatever I get, I'm gonna trade out at some point. So it's not like I'm sitting here holding items and I'm like, oh, I'm gonna be sitting on this for a long time. I'm actually going to likely ditch these in a decent rate here. That's kind of the kicker, is I can't rely on these items. If it was 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe I could sit on them. But at the same time, I could still just get another item that's better next run. Plus, I'm still holding out for Demon Forged items. If I can get a Demon Forged item, I don't care. I'm going to be just absolutely ballin'. I don't want to do bunker busting. Those kind of suck. Yeah, we'll do it. Why not? Going back at it again with the level 3.
The enemies of the Imperium are infinite, and such a vast threat can only be fought with ingenuity. Kill the masters, and you will render a sea of vermin helpless.
We'll see if anybody's in this area. Honestly, the Soul Grinder... I've said before, they could do a kind of Remnant from the Ashes Souls-style 40K game. And stuff like the Soul Grinder would be a cool boss to have. Just like, oh yeah, you went to randomly generated encounter number 42069, and this is the boss. And actually, you could, the more I think about it, you could do a lot with it, because what you do is you have Wyrd gear be modifiers. That's the easiest way to do it.
By the Emperor, a demon
Wow. He got dunked on. Yeah, you could do an interesting kind of Souls game. There's opportunities. And it'd be real easy for introducing, like, a Chaos Sorcerer boss. Because, like I said, War Gear. Easy modifications. You could do some pretty cool stuff. Oh, I don't know if I mentioned this. I'm excited. But CCP Games, Crowd Control Productions, not Chinese Communist Party, the guys behind Eve, this is old news, but they announced that they're working on an FPS game. Which, you know, I'm a Dust 514 old head, so I'm excited because the chance of reviving Dust... I swear I've mentioned it, but I'll say it again. If that happens, there's a good chance this becomes a Dust 514 channel. I loved that game. That game went hard. The problem was the engine limitations. It was on a PS3. And the fact that the game came out... I think the beta... I think the closed beta, where you had to... There was like an NDA... was 2012, 2013, because my friend got access because I didn't have a PS3, and I'd go over to his house and we'd play it all the time. Then we'd see dudes on YouTube uploading video footage for views, and we're like, dude, really? You're gonna violate your NDA? Which, I mean, one, I get it. Clout is a hell of a drug. People really want attention. But on the other hand, from the viewpoint of, like, looking at the product, it's not like there's much to have as an NDA. It's not like you're part of CSM, the Council of Stellar Management, which is, if you don't know, since I'm going to be dropping terms on you, that is essentially an elected group of players, by players, to be representatives, to talk to devs, meet, and do stuff like that. And I understand, like, the CSM guys have to sign NDAs because they are shown stuff that is in dev, stuff that is potentially game-changing. There's stories that part of the reason CSM even exists is because some people befriended devs and devs were giving them info on changes, and it became such a big issue. Which I think part of the problem is you'll never get rid of that fact. Like, you can stop people from, you know, just flat out saying, like, hey, buy this, sell this, prepare for war, this, you know, tech moons are going to be spread everywhere, so start dumping technetium because the value is going to plummet. You can do that, but you could also just pay attention to them and their groups and see, hey, these guys suddenly stopped using, you know, this ship. You know, it was their fleet doctrine and they just 180'd. Why? Chances are they know, hey, changes are coming, we need to adjust now before we get kind of left in the lurch and we have to join everybody else in figuring out what's going on and what the new fleet meta is. So there's always things like that that'll happen, but I think they're trying to mitigate it. But yeah, CSM, I get why they would have NDAs. The players, really wasn't much worth saying that was like, oh, this could violate NDA. It was gameplay. I mean, that game was subject to change. If you knew all the stuff they had planned, I've been working on a video for Dust that I'm still going to do, even though we have a sequel at some point. But at FanFest, the devs were like, hey, we're making a game. We don't really have anything we want to show you guys, so this is it. We're working on a game. Which I'm still excited for. You know, hell, I applied for a position at the place because I wanted to be involved. Will I get the job? I don't know. Hopefully. It'd be cool. But you never know. You know, that's just how things are. But yeah, I'm excited for that game. Even though it's going to be a long while before we hear anything about it. Whoa! Not a big chaos spawn, but still big chaos spawn.
Cleanse me of my sins.
Yeah, that was a game that I miss, and it's cool seeing it come back. Because my concern, I will admit, is that instead of making Dust, they make effectively what they tried to do back in 2018, 2019. A bunch of footage, some footage, IGN has it, still on their YouTube channel if you want to find it, it was Project Nova, is what the game was going under. And, you know, I'll be honest, it was bad. The game could be boiled down to, it was a standard, like, small team PvP kind of thing. Even the environment itself didn't feel correct. Because you're fighting Sanchez Nation, which are these dudes who enslave people using, like, mind shackling things, which is cool. Except the problem was, it just wasn't that good. Oh, I just realized I'm burning myself alive from all my abilities. Didn't even notice. But it was very generic looking, and the game, honestly, I think suffered for it. Because who's going to be hyped about generic sci-fi shooter? I wasn't. I was prepping a video for that too. I was ready to dunk on that. Wow, that boss went down fast. What do we got? Sword, don't care. Picked up something. Oh well. Hand of Desolation is probably a gun. Not that good of a run. Let's just look. I mean, no, not that good. That could be easily abused. 20% chance to reset the cooldown upon causing a critical hit. You know how many critical hits I can land? Vulnerability based on the crit. Actually useful. Get rid of that bonus for poison effects, though. That's crap. Sword, don't care. Bleed might be useful. Sword, don't care. Hey, this is the same staff I have. Okay, where am I? Was I wrong in that there was a different staff that had a different ability? Because I swear there was one different than the Wyrd vein. Whatever. Like I said before, I don't get why these staffs are one-handed. They're a stick. Let me carry it two-handed if I want. And then Implant of Ambush. I really don't like the title. That's already not giving me good vibes. Heal, kill commanders, deal damage. Like, yeah, it's a really high quality boost, but that also doesn't mean it's good. I might run it on the side just to get it out and leveled to see if it's good. But yeah, jumping back to Nova. Like, the footage they showed was just like a domination mode, which is fine, you know, I love domination, it's a fun mode. But there's so many things that were wrong with it. Like, the UI just felt uninspired. A lot of the assets were just dust assets, which, you know, it left all the Dust players a little butthurt, because it was like, oh, you recycled our stuff for this. Which, I mean, there's a problem with that studio making games that are like, oh, it's tied into Eve, but it's completely separate, like Railjack, I think, or no, it's Gunjack, where you are a like drone fighter pilot thing, but it does nothing with the main game, while Dust was actually completely tied into Eve, and there was plans for even more tie-ins. Players would be able to make stuff, like Eve players, and then sell them to Dust players, and there's a lot of cool stuff planned. It's just the game never got that far. Ended up getting shut down in 2016, which, I mean, yeah. The PS4 was already out for a couple of years, and they didn't port. If they had ported over, they probably could have kept the game going. The graphics would have been something people complained about, but I think it could have kept going. But hopefully we have a second chance here. And I mean, I can't give them too much flack, because early 2010s, I mean, the game was planned back in, the first trailer was 2009. Free-to-play was a very unheard of concept. And the game was cool, you know. When you died, the gear you had was destroyed. So you had to continually buy weapons and armor and equipment. If you lost a tank, that tank was gone. I always loved the idea because it felt like, you know, you had responsibility to your gear. It followed the classic Eve rule of don't fly what you can't afford to replace. You know, you always see these dudes on the forums and all this stuff getting absolutely bum bruised because they sat there and like, oh, I flew a billion-isk Macarial pirate vessel and it got ganked. And I'm like, could you afford to replace it? And it's usually like, no, I couldn't. It's like, then why did you fly it? If you can't afford it, just use a crappier ship. Yeah, flexing on the pores is fun. But, you know, if you can't afford to replace the ship, you can't afford to flex. You know, that's the golden rule here. But it was a fun game. There were plans for mechs, and there was more environments and all that stuff. There was a lot planned. PvE. They really need to get the PvE out early, because you gotta have something to keep people busy and entertained. But in the end, you know, a lot of issues got in the way and the game failed, and I think now, considering, you know, we've had years to kind of pick apart and dissect the corpse, figure out a proper post-mortem, I think you can learn from what happened and easily make a better game. I think that can be said about any game. I mean, hell, look at my Salvage Ops video on Resident Evil Umbrella Corps. Not even Resident Evil, it's just Umbrella Corps. Bad branding. But you look at that. You know, if you do a proper post-mortem, you can look at that game and say, hey, there's viable things in this game. They had good ideas, they just executed them poorly. And if you can catch those things, if Capcom really wanted to, I think they could make a sequel to that game. Yeah, they're going to have an uphill battle because of the branding, but I think they can make a better game. Better than Reverses. I don't know, or Reverse, my bad, that's the proper title. I don't know who's excited to play that, or their Dead by Daylight clone. Wasn't that great? A shame, honestly, because I think it was a cool idea, but it's still a Dead by Daylight clone. And therein lies a little bit of the problem. You know, you're competing against people's preconceived notions and, of course, their own biases. You know, people are always going to compare it to whatever the best in the industry currently is, and everybody expects every game to flat out one-up each other. And to a degree, yeah, you should expect innovation, but you can't expect everyone to one-up each other, because eventually you're going to hit a point where you can't really do that. Or if you do, you're going to eventually hit a point where you lose the identity of the game. Like Call of Duty, if you keep increasing like player size, well, look at Ground War. You made Battlefield. You know, you lose your identity and become Battlefield-esque. I would say please give me good loot from this, but I expect nothing. Greens and purples. Purple? Green? Yeah. Damn, I'm lucky. I can gamble on those every day. But we went through this already and found nothing of while, or nothing worthwhile. A little unfortunate, but that is to be expected. If I could re-roll that salvo skill into loot quantity, that would be sick. Yeah, I lose damage, but just the enraged token damage, I could ball out of control. I might do that later. Massacre effect, that's hit and miss. No. I don't care. While energy shield is active, if it was damage while energy shield is active, that'd be astounding. 25% chance for a single target psyker weapon skills to deal area damage after using a psychic power. I can kind of see a point to that. I really can. But it's also a gamble, so I'm not going to go on it. Bonus to feared enemies. Okay, I can fear, but I'd be replacing that, so it's moot. And I don't want to get rid of that because enraged token. Alright, I'll monkey with this later. But that is all for now. If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit the like button. It helps out the channel a lot. And if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.